Hi everyone. Who here love dinosaur? Oh, awesome. I'm proud to say that I'm one of you all. Dinosaur is my favorite thing. But before that, my talk today is prototyping the impossible, and my name is Pat. So as I mentioned, I'm a big fan of dinosaur, but the unfortunate thing about people that love dinosaur like me and some of you is that they're all gone. They're all extinct. So as a kid, this is my, a picture of when I was a baby. If you're serious about dinosaur enough, you might consider making your own dinosaur. And this paper dinosaur is what I made a while back. And to reflect upon that is actually the first prototype I create. So you might wonder, what exactly is prototyping? Is it creating a dinosaur? Absolutely not. Prototyping is a way to convert imagination into something that is tangible. Whether you want to make the world a better place, become a billionaire, cure cancer, or develop a space travel program, or starting a rock band, converting imagination to reality is crucial. So people have developed different ways to prototype. You can see here, this designer used paper to visualize how the iPad app would look like, so that the designer can move things around to fit with the user. Or this folded paper is also a prototype, and it's very exciting because it's the prototype of something that will eventually go into space. This folded paper is a prototype of the solar panel, and the researcher put together in order to see how the solar cell will expand out in the space. So you can see here that we can use prototype to make an app or space technology. But the key here is to use simple material, because if you use that, you're able to visualize things in your mind in a fast manner. You can share it with other people, you can test it, and you can ideate again. So this is why prototype is very important. So you might wonder, how can I start prototyping? And that brings back the dinosaur. So the reason I think that this dinosaur paper is a prototype is because it reflects the main feature of the dinosaur. Finding the main feature of what you want to prototype is very important. For example, one of my projects that I collaborate with my friend, we were inspired by this picture. There are a lot of nutritious food that is very difficult for students to eat, for example, veggies. So we have a question of how might we redesign the food for the future? How can we do that? How can we convert something that is so nutritious into something that is more interesting, maybe dinosaur or other shape, right? Yep. So that's why we have the idea of food printing, to use 3D printer to print food of the future. And to start that, we look at the main feature of the 3D printer, which is to fabricate things into the shape that we want. And our two hands here can do that as well. So we start prototyping by just using our hand to mimic the main function, the main feature of the 3D printer, and then build a machine that can automate that, right? So you can see we are printing the reindeer, not as good as dinosaur, but it works. So here are the 3D printed food that we have developed. And we can print like something like I love you, I love my dinosaur, or a cat, which is also awesome. So you can see here that we go from using our hand to mimic the main functionality of the 3D printer into the patented technology. We patented our food printer. Another project, another example that I would like to bring up is when I collaborate with my friend who is a performance artist. We were in the studio, and we were tasked to redesign the future of art. So my friend, who is a performance artist, came up with the idea that in the future, the dancer will be able to lead the patient in the rehabilitation process, so the artist can step in the role of medicine. And she think further, because she imagined that the future artist will not come as a person, but will come as a hologram to lead this session. So the key message that we want to prototype is to develop a hologram that can deliver compassionate to people. And one way that we do it all the time is by hugging, and I love it. I hug people all the time. And it's one way to share love and compassion and empathy. So we end up with the idea of huggable hologram. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, we don't even have a hologram yet. How can we gonna make a huggable hologram, right? So we look for a simple object, and we find that we already have an object that can, serve the main function for that. We have pillow. So we use projector to project my friend on the pillow so that she can lead the workshop, and then people can come and hug her. So at the end, we make a huggable hologram. She will be able to guide the workshop, and people can come and get her compassion. So we make it awesome. So another way that you can make your prototype strong is to have a strong visual elements. At ASU, we have a very awesome event called Hacks for Humanity. And I was excited about that when I was a freshman year, and I participate. I invite a couple of my friends with me, but you know what? None of them showed up. So I was there alone, and I met with 4 other incredible human beings, and we started to brainstorm ideas. The goal for Hacks for Humanity is to create technology that incorporate this Humanity 101 principle. And 2 of my team members, they share their experience of losing someone to suicide. So we look at this statistic, and we found that suicide is a big deal. Every 13.3 minutes, someone loses their life to suicide. However, nearly 10% of those people have posted the ideation on social media before. So we came up with the idea to answer this question: how might we connect people that have crisis with a mental health professional? So we developed an algorithm that be able to look through public social media and be able to identify people with suicidation and connect them with mental health professional. It sounds abstract and complicated, right? So what we did on top of making the algorithm is to create a visual element of the interface that the professional will come and look at the tweet. So having something that is complicated can be, simplified by using a strong visual element. And 5 of us, after the hackathon, we didn't know each other before, but we worked together and we prototyped it, and we won the hackathon. And now we are in the 3 years of our journey as a startup company that want to do social good. And we got funded to do awesome work. Yes, so the important thing is that, even though I invite my friend, none of them showed up, I accept the call to adventure, and I dare you to do that as well. Talking about the call to adventure, another project of mine starting last summer, we were interested in this fact that the United Nations put out saying that insects are the protein of the future because they're nutritious and they're very sustainable. But capturing insects is not easy, right? So we want to make that process simple. So we look at nature, because nature always has an amazing solution. We look at nature, and we are inspired by the way that the carnivorous plant attract insects. So we take that inspiration and designed a device that be able to capture the insect by mimicking the functionality of the carnivorous plant. However, we cannot make this prototype alone ourselves. So we collaborate with the villager in Thailand because they have the knowledge of how to fabricate the basket that is close to what we design. So we work with them and be able to develop this prototype. And at the end, this device won the Global Biomimicry Design Challenge as a prototype for solving food crisis. So working with the expert is the key here. And we work with, the villager. We are grateful that they share their wisdom with us, but we also learn from nature, which has a lot of expertise in solving problems. As Alan Turing say, sometimes it's the people no one can imagine anything of who do the thing that no one can imagine. So look for the expert. They might not be the type of expert that you usually think of. The next way to make the prototype interesting is to tell a great story. I was at the MIT Media Lab, and they were having an event that pulled together different people that are interested in virtual reality technology. And they have a conference and hackathon. So virtual reality is a very exciting technology because once you put on the device, you can be in any world. You can be in dinosaur world, auto world. You can be immersed into fantasy. However, in order to create this world, you need to have a technical background. You need to be able to code. And we think that, that's interesting. So we have an imagination that what if every story that we write can become a 3D world that we can all be in? What if what J.K. Rowling wrote for Harry Potter can become a virtual reality technology without any coding or anything, if it's just get translated like that? How awesome that would be. Or think about what if children be able to write story and share with their parent in the virtual reality world. How awesome that would be. So we were excited about that. And someone came talk to us saying, no, you cannot do it. It's too complicated, it's too magical, it's too awesome, basically. So, thank you. Yeah. So when we hear that, we know that we have something great and we continue to work on it. So at the end, we use natural language processing to extract the keyword from the text that we write in. We put it in cloud, and then we have VR grab it. So at the end, we develop a platform that can convert a story into VR, as magical as we imagined. And here is the real version of it. You can see people try it on the Google Cardboard. And at the end, we won the hackathon again. Yeah. So no matter what people tell you, keep going. Keep going. The last thing that I'd like to share with you is about the big thing. People always think about the big thing. However, if you can go one step further and think beyond the big thing, you'll be able to do more awesome things. For example, we know that artificial intelligence is coming. How do we think beyond AI? And I and my friend, some of them are here actually, we were interested in the area of medicine and AI. We know that AI will be able to predict the disease and create a treatment in the same way the doctor can do. So we imagine how might we co-design the post-AI medicine? Because medicine is not just about science, it's also about human interaction. How we create a compassionate environment in the post-AI world. So we bring in technologist, doctor, patient. We have them switch role. We borrow the technique from Theater for Social Change. We have them do a role play, and one of them pretend to be an AI, and craft the interaction that they want. So this idea of using a play or using a role play as a way to craft the future interaction, the thing that we design become the blueprint for what the AI in medicine will look like. We know that DNA computing is coming. So how do we think beyond DNA computer? My project, one of them, focused on asking the question, what if we have a device that can read or write DNA like we read and write hard disk? So by asking that question, we prototype something that does not yet exist, but it allows us to map out all the potential interaction that can happen. And this is very interesting. We know that STEM education is coming. We need technologists, we need engineers, we need mathematicians, we need people that are interested in making the world a better place. How we go beyond that? This is the last project, I promise you. So I and my friend in Thailand, we pilot a prototype of the future of education. Not only we teach high school and middle school students the way to prototype, the way to create code, the way to work with science. We bring them to see traditional art. We bring them to see performance arts. We bring them to humanities and social science. And we ask them to develop a technology that they think will exist in the future. And it's very fascinating because the project that they came up with is not just a robot. It also has a human dimension to it. For example, you can see here, these robots that they create, they mimicked the art style from the traditional art that they have seen. So the robots that they create are not alienated to society, but it blends perfectly with the culture of that place. And when we look at the answer of what students learn, We analyze the result, and we see that they'll be able to make the connection between art and science, and that is what we want to see in the future. As Steve Jobs say, creativity is just connecting things. So thinking beyond is important because it helps differentiate you from other competitors. It creates new lens for you to innovate further. And I hope that this lesson, along with the earlier lesson that I shared with you, will help you realize that you can use prototype to prototype anything from education, medicine, food, or even the dinosaur. So prototypes are not perfect, but they show us and they help us reimagine reality. I myself is a prototype. I'm not perfect. And these people here are my prototyper. They prototype me into a better innovator, better creator, and the most important thing, a better human being. So I'm thankful for them. The last message that I would like you to take away from my presentation is that prototyping is important. No matter how big or small your idea is, or no matter how crazy it is, please use prototype because it allows us to convert things that seems impossible at first into things that you can make it possible. Thank you very much.